Hey everybody, welcome back to AWS What's Next. I'm Shashank Prasanna, your host. If you're just tuning in, this is your opportunity to learn more about some of the launches we have had here at reInvent. And in this session, we'll be talking about Amazon Lookout for Vision. And to talk about Lookout for Vision and all the different capabilities, who is it for, how does it work, I have here service expert Prakash. Prakash, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Prakash Krishnan. I'm a senior manager with AWS, and I'm the engineering lead for Amazon Lookout for Vision that we just launched this week. And I'm excited to tell you more about it.
Awesome. Welcome, Prakash. As I was watching the keynote a couple of days ago, and what I was really excited about was all the machine learning focused capabilities we had for industries in manufacturing. We had launches that covered, Lookout for equipment, AWS Panorama, the appliance and services, and Lookout for Vision, of course, is what we'll be talking about here today. And I'm really excited that you're here and we'll discuss more about what it is, how it works. So let's start off by talking about what are some of the challenges that customers face today as they try to introduce machine learning and computer vision in manufacturing. So what are some of the challenges they face and how are they dealing with this today?
Yeah, absolutely. As you and your viewers know, in manufacturing, quality assurance has historically been a very manual process where human beings visually inspect and certify the product. While this gives us a lot of flexibility in the types of defects that we can identify, it's a very difficult problem to scale. As manual inspection is a slow process, so that's a bottleneck in the throughput of the production line. It also tends to be subjective and error-prone. Human beings make mistakes. A lot of our customers in the industrial and manufacturing sector are really looking for automation.
And machine learning, of course, is one great way to automate the process of detection and so on. So the standard way of doing this was manual, but some customers are using machine learning today. What are the other different ways they're trying to address the challenge today? Before, of course, this launch happened, what were they doing today, and what were some of the approaches they were using, and what challenges were they facing with automation that they were managing themselves?
No, that's a great question. There have been automated solutions for quality assurance. Most of them fall under the category of what's called machine vision. Typically, a customer would buy a purpose-built machine, and then they would configure rules that can identify certain defects. Some of the challenges with this are, first of all, it's pretty expensive because these machines to be custom built for a factory can cost a lot of money. Second, they have limited flexibility. So when you configure rules and the rules are, you need somebody to actually create rules for a specific type of a product, for a specific type of a lighting conditions, and so on and so forth. So if those change, it becomes very difficult to change those rules. Additionally, when you launch new products, it's very difficult to actually create new rules. So those are some of the limitations, and those are those are the problems that we are trying to solve by creating new products here.
So some of these, there's also sort of a domain expertise question here, right? If rules change, then you sort of need the right expertise to be able to update these algorithms, and maybe there's a lack of knowledge or know-how in doing this today. And I think that's probably a big challenge for customers too, right?
Absolutely right. That's correct. And typically, the people that have the expertise in the domain are not usually the same people that are able
Mm,
to write these algorithms and so on. So, there's really a need for products that these domain experts can use without having to understand all the
mm.
gory details of the algorithms and so on.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And this is across different, not just in manufacturing, but across multiple different domains. You have experts who are domain experts, but they don't necessarily have the expertise in machine learning or computer vision and others. So this is exciting. So we have a solution here for customers who to be able to do this, even if they're not experts in machine learning, so to say. Uh, so let's talk about the product and the service. So this is Amazon Lookout for Vision. We just launched it a couple of days ago. Tell us more about this service. What does it do, and how does it work? How does it help improve productivity for customers?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you just mentioned, this Lookout for Vision is a machine learning service. It uses computer vision to automate the visual inspection of defects. Um, the good news is over the last several years, there has been a significant progress that's been made in the field of machine learning. And as you and your viewers know, with the availability of the computing power that AWS brings to the table, it has become very easy to create computer vision models that can predict these anomalies with very high accuracy. So that's really where our product comes in. Um, all you all you need, and especially with the domain experts, is to bring in normal or anomalous images of your product. You don't
Mm,
have to understand the machine learning aspects of it. Uh, you know, it's you can you don't have to be that ML expert that
mm.
speaks the machine learning language. You just bring in the images, and then we train a model. The advantage of this is that you can bring in different variations of the product in various different lighting conditions, and the model will learn from those images that you bring in. You can also improve the accuracy of the model as you get different products. You launch new products, or
Mm.
and you over time you can also provide feedback to the model and make and improve the accuracy of the model, and the model really learns, and gets better over time.
That's I think a huge value proposition for developers who aren't machine learning experts. So let's unwrap this a little bit. So customers who have set of images that are anomalous or have defects, and they also have examples of good images. So prior to this service, they had to manually figure out how to create a model, and maybe they were using services like Amazon SageMaker to train their own model if they had the expertise and the know-how, and then figure out how to host this model and consume it themselves. But with Lookout for Vision, they don't have to worry about building their own models. They just bring in their data set and provide it to the service, and the service takes care of everything else. Is that a fair summary?
That's absolutely right. And as you rightly pointed out, this is really for the non-ML expert. Those domain experts,
Mm,
those who know about what their product should look like, what the anomaly should look like.
mm,
And as you pointed out, they can bring in their images as a data set, and they don't have to worry about the machine learning algorithms. Lookout for Vision will train a model for the specific use case. Uh, the training will behind the scenes try different machine learning algorithms and eventually create a model that
mm.
specifically solves their use case. So yes, they don't have to worry about the machine learning, and it's very easy with just a few clicks to actually get started and have a model that's ready to use.
That's awesome. So I do want to talk about a little bit about the details a developer would care, such as where the data should be and how they'll run through this. But we'll come back to that. I know you have a demo plan for us.
Yeah.
Uh, but a quick reminder for the viewers is that with AWS, you have all these different machine learning capabilities. With Amazon SageMaker, of course, you can train your own models with dataset, but high level services like Amazon recognition, and Lookout for Vision is one such service as well, where developers without machine learning expertise can take advantage of these services that are powered by machine learning, but they themselves don't have to be machine learning experts. So this is great because this enables so many different industries and so many different developers. So I want to talk about use cases now. Of course, Lookout for Vision has this fundamental capability that can be used for a variety of different use cases. So, what are some of the key use cases that you've seen from customers as you were developing the service, and also customers who tested this with you and provided feedback? What were these use cases that really stood out as a big value proposition that Lookout could provide?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great question. What's been really exciting developing this product is that we found customers coming up with applications across the industry.
Hmm.
So, you had really advanced users where they would be in the semiconductor industry and they would want to detect defects in wafers.
Hmm.
You can go to the other parts of the electronics industry where they're looking at circuit boards.
Hmm.
And then, my friend Bharat, who's a product manager for the product, he has an example where they're looking for defects on cheese pizzas, right? So this it's been just exciting just to see the whole gamut of use cases that customers are looking using this for. And I'm really excited to see what some of your viewers are going to try it out on.
I think that's a hallmark of a good service if you can use it in so many different interesting ways. The I think we'll see a couple of signups today just to detect defects in cheese pizza today. That's awesome. So you mentioned semiconductor industries, you mentioned other manufacturing. I'm looking at some of the use cases you have on the product page. Damage to vehicles and structures. That is awesome. And tell us about, say you're in one of these industries. Tell us about uh, how a developer would go about taking this business problem, which is, let's say I want to detect a defect in a silicon wafer. I'm not a semiconductor expert, but
Yeah.
tell us about the workflow they would follow. Would they start by gathering this information first and figure out how to upload it to Amazon S3? Tell us about this developer journey, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, the journey starts with the images. Of course, different customers have different mechanisms for
Mm,
grabbing the images. Some of them have really advanced integrations to to cameras.
mhm,
But ultimately, the images are what they integrate with. Our APIs and services. So
mhm,
a developer or typically would bring in the images into either an S3 bucket, or maybe they would have it locally that they would upload it locally from
mhm,
some other, but and then they would identify, and I will show you later in
mhm.
this
In the demo, yeah.
demo, yeah, that they can go ahead and classify some of these images as normal and anomalous, and then they just train the model.
Mm,
Well, when we train the model, we show them the performance of the model. In certain cases, they would bring in their own test data sets, and they would validate the model on that test data set so that they can evaluate the performance of the model.
mm,
And there's a feature that I will be showing you in a bit where
mhm,
customers can actually do a trial detection, and they can bring in their own set of images to test out how the model is performing, and also provide feedback to the model, so they can tell the model if the model got it right or wrong, and then
mhm,
we would take that feedback and then go retrain the model. So this is a way to improve the accuracy as you go along. And once the model is ready, we have capabilities by which you can host the models at endpoints, and that's really when you move into production, where when you have live data, or sorry, products in your production line, and then you have live data in
mhm,
terms of images. we provide APIs that you can integrate with, so that you can perform programmatic anomaly detection using the model that you trained.
Mm.
And you can get back results in almost near real time.
In a real time, yeah. That's awesome. So we you covered the entire workflow, right? So you can upload the data offline. The model is automatically trained for you from that data set. Then you can host this endpoint that customers can consume in real time. So as they have new wafers coming in, if it's semiconductor or new vehicle parts coming in, they just upload the image and they get back the results. That's awesome. um, we realize that some of these organizations are a little more advanced. They have some machine learning know-how and capability, and Lookout for Vision is really designed for someone who doesn't need machine learning expertise. Are there some knobs or things that they can tweak to really personalize the results for themselves? Let's say they have some machine learning knowledge or expertise. What are some of the um, knobs that Lookout for Vision provides for someone who wants to actually learn what's happening?
That's a great question. We do provide evaluation metrics on
Mm,
the model. So for those that speak the machine learning, the ML language,
yeah.
we show metric when you bring in your test data set. We show metrics
Mm,
such as precision, which is, as you know, the true positives or the
mm.
recall and the F1 score, and they can really dig into some of these metrics, and make sure that the model is satisfactory to their expectation.
That's awesome. Um, I want to talk a little bit more about the data before we jump into demo. One of the questions I often get asked when talking to customers in the ML space, especially with services that automate a lot of things for you, right? Like Lookout for Vision or Recognition or Poly, any of these other higher level services. How much data? Well, of course, for those, for this service, there's a training aspect, right? Wherein you provide data before a model is generated. A question that I often get is how much data is enough, right?
Mhm.
You're generating data defects, and I assume in many cases they're highly imbalanced data sets. You have a lot more right than and a lot fewer wrongs, right?
Yeah.
How much data do you need, and how does Lookout for Vision manage these sort of nuances?
Right. No, that's a great question. And well, as you know, and as your viewers know, there is no one right answer for this.
Mm,
So it really depends on your specific use case. Several of our we have seen in several of our customer examples
mm.
that you can get started with as little as 30 images.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, we just want to, but we just you just need to make sure that you have both the normal images as well as the anomalous images, because you
Yeah.
want to make sure that the model is able to learn the good and the bad. But again, it really depends on the use case, and certain use cases might require more number of images.
Mm.
But the good news is you can try this out with few images, and
And see how it
if you
works.
measure, yeah, and then we have abilities by which you can add more images to your model and make it better over time. And that's really a feature that we encourage our users to use.
Oh, that's nice. So you can train something with few images, and then you can add more and improve the model. I think that's very powerful rather than having to restart from scratch. And I think you hit the point. It's use case dependent. And one of the things I usually tell customers is it's usually less about the number of images, more about the diversity.
Right.
If you have representative samples from either categories, then you're better off than having the same image 1,000 times or the same.
Yeah.
So but the key thing here is that because there's very little overhead on the development or the model building space from the developer standpoint, it's easy for them to try things. Just upload their images, try it, look at the evaluation. If not, add more images. I think this is a huge value proposition. So I do want to see the demo. One last question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Are there any um, fundamental innovations in this service that you want to talk about, things not necessarily something a developer would use, but would feel good knowing that there's this Amazon's experience and innovation that's going on behind the scenes that they can feel good about. Are there any innovations like these that you want to share?
Uh, no, absolutely. Well, first of all, the we have a large team of scientists that have developed many machine learning algorithms and models. And you can see that in the large set of services that we offer, even from AWS across the spectrum, from recognition to text extraction and so on. Over time the we have developed many different types of models and algorithms, and
Mm.
what I'm really excited about is how behind the scenes Lookout for Vision can try all of these out, and
Mm.
it can really pick and choose what's really the best for that specific customer's use case. And that's something I'm really excited about, because you're letting the computers do the job for you,
Yeah, yeah.
and you
That's
don't
the
have to
holy
worry
grail
about
of
the details.
AI, right? That's true. That's awesome. So I know you're ready, and I'm aching to see the demo. So let's just jump right in and take a look at Lookout Vision and how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you're seeing here is the main access to Amazon Lookout for Vision from the console. This page, the main page, will tell you a lot more about the pricing, the benefits, and how you can actually get in and use the product. Typically, the you start when you start the using the product, you first go ahead and create a project. Now, I have a few projects here, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to create a project and get started. You can give it your own name. I've been creating a few test projects with circuit boards. We've also created some sample data sets that you can use. So this is a demo test case that any of the viewers here can go ahead and try out. That's in our documentation.
That's nice. Huh.
Yeah. The first, as I mentioned, the first step is you bring in your data using images. And then you tell Lookout for Vision whether those images are normal or anomalous. So I'm going to go ahead and create a data set. Um, in many cases, the user might have just some images that they want to bring in, but we also give them the option to bring in a training data set as well as a test data set.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, we have several options by which they can bring in their data. They might have the data in S3 buckets, or they can upload it directly from the computer. We also allow them to import data sets that they may have already labeled using SageMaker Ground Truth, just making it easy for them to bring in the data.
Oh wow, I think this is huge. Basically, from a customer workflow standpoint, they don't have to label something ahead of time. They just collect the data and submit a SageMaker ground truth job, and you have labelers label them, and that can be piped directly to this service to train a model. I think that is huge, huge value proposition right there. That integration with the ground truth service.
That's correct. And we also provide other convenience functions, like let's say you have organized your data in an S3 bucket in certain folder structures. So we provide automatic labeling where by using this feature, based on the folder that you placed the images in, we automatically label them for you so that you can proceed to the next step. In the interest of time, I'm going to go to one of the test cases where I've already created a few models or data sets. So for example, here I have imported the data set with both the training data set as well as the test data set. You can view the images that are labeled here. On this page, we also allow them to add more labels if they choose to. They have unlabeled images and so on. This makes it really easy for them to go on to the next step, which is training the model. Again, you can train the model with the click of a button. I've have some issues here with my credentials, but I'm going to switch over to a model which I've already trained. And this model trained in about 45 minutes to an hour, which and I've completed the training. So I'm going to actually show you some of the metrics that the user can use to measure the performance. Just give me 1 second here.
All
Uh,
the training happens automatically, right? As a user, you don't have to worry about what type of instances are being used, whether it's CPU, GPU, all that's happening behind the scenes. A developer
that,
worry. Okay.
yep, that's correct. So behind the scenes, we actually have, we take care of actually,
Yeah.
the training, the instances, and so on. So they really don't have to worry about any of that. Um, Now, in the set of projects that I have here, let me see if my credentials are okay. Yeah, I'm going to switch over to uh, let me see here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still running into the credentials issue, but let me go here and look at my models. There you go.
Mm.
So when I look at the models, I can, here are the performance metrics that I was referring to before, where we show the precision and the recall, as well as the F1 score. Additionally, you can also look at what the model has actually
Ah,
predicted here on the test data set.
this
Um,
is awesome. Everything right here in the console, and I see things like F1 scores of imbalanced data sets. This is awesome. So everything is right here. As a user, you don't have to worry about doing this yourself offline. Taking the
that's right.
image outputs from the test set and all that.
That's
So this is great. So Prakash, I know we are getting close to the end of the session. So thanks for the demo. Thanks for answering the questions. So one last question: um, can developers get started today? What is the availability of this service? Can they log in right now after this stream and try this out? What are
Yes,
the next steps?
yes, absolutely. The product is available as a preview, but it's already launched, and it's an open preview, so you can go ahead and I'd love for your viewers to go ahead and try it out right away, and get creative.
Thanks. So I'm sure many of us will be intrigued to try out the pizza defect problem, even if they don't have an industrial sort of a problem. So I'll definitely be sure to go try this out. So thank you for listening. That was Prakash, and we spoke about Amazon Lookout for Vision. So stay tuned for further streams. We'll be signing off. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you all. Bye.